wanted to welcome Kaylee. Kaylee is here. Can you tell everybody a little bit about you, Kaylee?
Yeah, so my name is Kaylee Bisbee. I'm a special education teacher. I've been teaching for about 4 years now, and I work specifically with middle school and high school students and those that have autism and cognitive impairments.
You have a very big, important job, don't you?
Yes, I like to think so.
We all value people like you, our teachers. How has it changed since COVID has started? Has it been pretty difficult for you?
Yeah, I think even more so with my kids that have disabilities, it's been really hard for them to access, internet and being able to do that and function correctly without, the help of our teachers and aides. So it's been a big change. We're working through it and, doing the best we can, but I miss them every day.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys do. So we just talked about our core values here at the farm and how important they are for running our farm and for caring for our animals. Can you tell maybe how your job is related to the job of a farmer?
So when you first sent me that question, my first thought was advocacy. So we as teachers every day are advocating for our children, whether it be, are they able to do this? Are they able to, how can we better person-centered plan for them to be successful in school and out of school? And I think it kind of relates to animals in kind of a weird way. Hear me out for a second, but when you think about how farmers have to work to look at animal behaviors, are they being treated fairly? Are we doing the right processes so that animals, when you look at their behaviors, are they feeling stressed? So it's kind of related that same way. We're both doing advocacy work for different people and animals.
You're making me cry, Kaylee. So we're all have these important jobs out there. I know Kaylee, their families are friends of ours. We've known her since she was able to babysit my own children, and my daughter's was in her wedding and everything. So it's watching go and mature, and I just want to let you know that we're really proud of what you're doing with your life. I think it's amazing. So we just went and saw the hoof trimming over with the hug box. I wanted to know, we were talking about how you're going to share with us a little bit about Temple Grandin. We use the hug box for the cows to kind of give them a little comfort because they're nervous. They're not sure what's going on, but it's important to groom them. It's like a baby's first bath. They're going to scream through the whole thing when they get it done, but we still have to do it to help them be healthy and to get all the, the cleanliness that they need. So it's the same. We have to make sure those cows have healthy hooves all the time. So can you tell me, what can you tell me about Temple Grandin? What would you like to share with us today?
So when I was going through college, we did just kind of a little research piece about her. I can kind of quick tell you a little bit about her. I realized it wouldn't let me screen share with you, so I'm gonna try to just talk about it, but I think it's gonna be too small to see anyway. So I want to start talking about first, one of her first quotes she made about autism was that I really like the logical way that I think. I'm totally logical. In fact, it kind of blows my mind how irrational human beings are. If you get rid of autism, you have nobody to fix your computer in the future. And that just made me, it makes me think about like even my own kids that I teach, are they getting out of education what they need? So a little bit about Temple Grandin is she was born in 1947 and she didn't start talking until she was 3.5 years old. She was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2. And during that time, autism was kind of considered a taboo. If you think about like your parents or grandparents back then, a lot of people with disabilities were kind of just shoved off and here you go, figure out your life. And that's kind of how she grew up. She had some really good teachers that helped advocate for her and her parents. But one interesting fact is that autism wasn't considered a diagnosis from the American Psychiatric Association until 2013. So wow. Even now we're looking at, new ways to help people with autism. So when she was in grade school, she found a lot of comfort in being squeezed. So if you think about someone with autism, they have a lot of sensory needs, like either touch, smell, taste. Any of those things are sensory needs for kids with autism. So she found comfort in what is now known as the hug machine. And those are used in farms and even people use them today. So she started thinking about that in grade school. How can I help animals and how can I help people feel more comforted going through different processes? Temple Grandin, she started working on an animal farm when her professor, Stan Curtis, kind of pushed her towards animal behavior and handling. So she wanted to start advocating for the humane treatment of animals. And one thing that's interesting about her autism is she sees everything visually. So if you ever want to see a really good movie, it's actually called just Temple Grandin, but it was written in 2010. And it shows her visualizations of how she started her advocacy for making carve chutes and then for making hoof trimming, which you guys have one there.
Yep.
Most of the farms in North America use her hug machines that she's created. So it really relaxes the animals when they get their hooves trimmed or if they're going to bathe. So before, when you would go through the bathing process, an animal would just walk down a steep slope with no grooves in it. There wouldn't be a way for them to get through, to bathe. They would break their legs, drown, a bunch of things were happening, and no one was really, people were caring about it, but no one was really looking to see like, what can we do differently? So she kind of went and stepped in and said, let's add some grooves so they can step down slower. And then let's add, shallower water. Let's add these curve systems that, they feel that pressure as they're walking through. So she has gotten everything from her bachelor's to her PhD in animal science. And another interesting thing about her is her advocacy with autism. So she's not only a large advocate for the humane treatment of animals, but she's also a large advocate for those with autism. So that's where she speaks to me, because being a special ed teacher, I love learning about her. And she says autism is not a disability, it's a differently abled brain. So very interesting.
Every autistic child I know is super smart.
Yes.
Yes. High intelligence. Yes.
Yes.
So have to learn how to work with everybody who's different, right?
Yep. And if you look at her TED Talks too, she goes on about how it's a differently abled brain and how, you may not be close to a gen ed student in that sense, but you have such a genius brain in some other type of way. So she's really, really cool person. And I don't know if she's still doing work right now. I think she's 73. So she's getting up there with, finishing and retiring, but she's done so much work with animal advocacy. So.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. She's autistic too, correct?
Oh yeah. Yeah. She has autism. She was born with a diagnosis at the age of 2. So.
And she used to say that she felt like she had the mind of a cow. She could connect with them. She could bond with them. That's the quote I used to hear. I'm like, how amazing to feel like you can really relate to an animal. I think that's phenomenal. And that's why she's out doing so much work for them. So we've been celebrating World Milk Day all day today. Did you have any dairy today or milk to celebrate?
I had some ice cream a little earlier.
Best one.
I have ice cream right now.
I got mine sitting here right now. We should have it all day long, every hour. Great. So I want to thank you so much. I've been watching that you've been watching us all day long, and I really appreciate the support and keeping an eye on what's going on. It's nice to see that you want to learn what's going on in the farms. And someday we hope you're going to bring your kids here to see what's happening on Dairy Discovery, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that if people haven't heard much about you, I did Team 21 when it was a thing at the Wyoming public schools, and watching the kids with all the different cultural backgrounds come visit you guys was such an eye-opening. Like how many kids had never seen a cow before was crazy. And then how many kids learned something by being there. So if you guys, this whole thing that you guys are doing is raising money for those programs, and firsthand seeing those kids and everything they learned from just the 4 to 5 hours they were there was truly awesome. So donate.
Thank you, Kaylee. You're amazing. We really appreciate what you had to offer. And yes, it is quite a blessing to watch those kids get off the bus, and then when they leave, they're excited, thanking you. They're over the smell of manure, and they've learned what an udder is, and that we have female cows here. It's a gift to see them walk away learning something new. So thanks for sharing with us, Kaylee. Appreciate your time.